A new striker, a new winger, a new keeper, the vote of confidence for Ruben Amorim, and Roy Keane hates Bruno Fernandes. Welcome along to Forever United TV, everybody. I'm Adam. We have got a jam-packed show for you tonight with loads of debatable topics, starting with Rasmus Hojlund's last few months at Manchester United. According to reports, all a load of interesting stories along that one and what is actually happening with his situation, how United can utilise what he is and his value elsewhere. We'll get into details on that and the news that has come out this afternoon about him. Manchester United obviously looking for a new goalkeeper. Yes, thank you. We need that. A new winger on the lookout again for Manchester United, whether that's going to be a 10/wing back. We're going to talk about another player at Atalanta, not Edison, that United are also looking at as well. And what is actually happening in and around Manchester United hierarchy after a turbulent week, after that win, sort of settling things down last night. Simon Stone of the BBC has been talking and in detail on the situation and the mood around Manchester United and the players, the powers that be around United ahead of Ruben Amorim. So we've got all of that to get through, all of your comments to get involved in as well. We're going to have a good old debate about that Ian Wright and Roy Keane argument from the overlap as well. That was an interesting one. Roy Keane, veins popping out of his head, like gone. Full-on rage monster mode, Roy Keane. It was like he was confronting a referee again. We'll get into all of that towards the back end of the show. But starting off with the man himself, Rasmus Hojlund, one of Manchester United's biggest transfer mistakes. Nothing to do with him himself. We've discussed everything about Rasmus Hojlund before. We've discussed everything that was wrong with his transfer. Nothing with him. Just the right type of player for United at the wrong time. I think that's how we described Rasmus Hojlund last time. But interesting developments around him and what's actually happening with his possible move out of Manchester United. Now, last time we did discuss how Manchester United would struggle to move Rasmus Hojlund on. I think everybody was in the same sort of thinking with that one. But news coming out today from, again, another Italian source saying this, and this is where all of the news came about around the January transfer window. But they're saying over internet, Manchester United are studying an offer with 40 million euros plus Rasmus Hojlund for the services of Victor Osimhen this summer. If that is right, then Manchester United are valuing Rasmus Hojlund at approximately 30 million euros. That is what we're at right now, because I think it's 70 plus million euros for the release clause of Osimhen. Now, 40 million, obviously, then plus Rasmus Hojlund equates to 30 plus million euros. I think it's just going to be shy of 30 million quid for Manchester United. So a player that we spent, nearly 65/70 million on 2 seasons ago is now valued by the new hierarchy at Manchester United at less than half of that. Embarrassment, yes. Needs must, yes. United needing to bring better players in, 100% yes. Arms forced and ruthless decisions made, of course. That's the situation we're in, and we've discussed this aplenty over many different types of shows about the worth of Rasmus, where he goes from here, what United can do in the summer with the PSR situation, how we salvage anything out of the Rasmus Hojlund transfer, because let's be honest, we are going to take a massive, massive loss on Rasmus Hojlund no matter what happens. But if you can actually bring someone in like Osimhen, with him being used as a make weight, it doesn't seem as bad. It means that Rasmus Hojlund has left Manchester United. It also means that we're not scrounging around because we haven't made good money for Rasmus Hojlund, trying to find another striker. I think Manchester United are looking at being a little bit crafty in the transfer window this summer. And I think this is one of them deals that you would look at and go, I can see what they're trying to do here. I can actually see where Manchester United are going with this. But still, it's unfortunate for a striker that we had a lot of hope for. There's a lot of people from the fan base that looked at Rasmus Hojlund's performance again last night. He's all hot air and no-end products. Matthias de Ligt had more shots than Rasmus Hojlund and Joshua Zirkzee put together last night. They just don't know how to play that number 9 role. Zirkzee is effective in different ways where Rasmus Hojlund can't be. Rasmus Hojlund needs to be in the box. There was a moment in that second half that everybody has highlighted from the game last night against Ipswich, where the ball comes to him. Instead of trying to hold it up and turn and shoot, he dummies the ball, knowing that there is no Garnacho on the other side. There is no other forward there behind him. He knows this. So why he did it, I do not know. And I think people are looking at moments like that and they're going, you know what? This is where he's going to be and he's going to be left out. He hasn't got time to mess around like that. He hasn't got time to actually be nurtured through at Manchester United. There's no one to help him, and United are starting from scratch. So realistically, we need strikers and forwards that are going to do the business straight away, and then we need to bring in somebody else behind them. And Rasmus Hojlund is that striker from behind. He's just not ready for Manchester United. And the mistakes in how much Manchester United spent on Rasmus Hojlund are coming back to haunt the club, and I think we all knew that this was going to happen. I cannot see a world where Rasmus Hojlund survives the summer right now. With the amount of noise which is coming out, with everybody that's interested in him, with how his stock is still valued at in Italy, in Serie A. We've had Juventus looking into him. We're hearing now, excuse me, that obviously Napoli, who are looking for another striker to come in. Obviously, if Osimhen leaves, which is definitely going to happen, he is not welcome at all back under Antonio Conte. Rasmus Hojlund, an understudy too, Romelu Lukaku, works well for Napoli, and it does make good sense, but they're not going to pay anywhere near what Manchester United did. So if United can use him as a make-weight to bring somebody else in, is that better business? That's the first question of the night. That's what I'm asking everybody. Is that better business for Manchester United in terms of using what we've got with Rasmus Hojlund and using him as a make-weight to actually make another deal in bringing somebody else in? Because let's be honest, we all know that we're not going to get anywhere near decent money for Rasmus Hojlund. He is in shocking form, and it doesn't look like with the new system in place he's ever going to be able to adapt in time to start being that number one striker for Ruben Amorim. I did say the other day that obviously Manchester United with Rasmus Hojlund, he could develop. He is 22 now. Some players didn't develop until they were 24, 25. I was talking with a few United fans outside Old Trafford last night and was saying the same. Look, Solanke didn't develop until late. You're looking at Victor Gyökeres, prime example, who United are looking at themselves this summer. He didn't develop until he was around about 24. This is what can happen sometimes, and you're always afraid that you are going to miss the boat. And I think someone made a comment on the early morning show today talking about Garnacho. We're going to regret letting him go in the summer, and he is going to turn into a world-class player. Look, it is what it is right now in the situation that we've got, and unfortunately, some players will be sacrificed because they are not coping now. And that's just what happens in football. Other clubs suit other players better, and at the moment, United suiting nobody. And we need a whole new team, it would seem. So I feel like Rasmus, I feel like Garnacho, I think these are going to be the players that we do see the back end of in the summer. Look, I don't know if Garnacho, we'll see how that develops. He was the one that was looking like going to Napoli, but it now looks like it's coming down onto Rasmus Hojlund being the one and the make weights. United fully on in now. We know this. We've umpteen times been talking about Victor Osimhen. I think we're all tired about talking about him right now because the transfer window isn't on. But I just feel like right now the situation probably develops even more for us, and we're more interested in it because we've got a striker there in Rasmus Hojlund who is not making an impact, not making a difference in this team at the moment. And when you're carrying your number one, as in the goalkeeper, and you're carrying your number 9, the two most important roles, like the business ends of the pitch, when Rasmus makes a mistake, United are not scoring. When Onana makes a mistake, United are conceding. It's a recipe for disaster. And two key areas of the pitch would be them two positions. They're key in every single successful football team. And you only have to look across all of the big guns across Europe right now. I was talking about that this morning with the keeper in particular. We're going to move on to that in a minute, but I do want to come to the chat and talk about that deal first of all and whether you feel like that is a good deal. And yeah, I mean, what you're looking at there is probably, for me, an acceptance. That's what this seems like for me, an acceptance. And I just look at it and go, I think this is United now, looking at what's happening in real life, as in Ineos, looking at how the players are performing under Ruben Amorim, their man, and it not working. Everyone can see where United are. Everyone can see United struggles, and I think they've had to accept that this is going to be a massive loss on the football club again, and they are going to have to. They're going to have to take. They're going to have to take that big chunk of change on the loss, and how they balance it. Bringing the player in, I don't know how that works, whether it looks better on the books or not, but I think he can be used in a way where we get someone better in. And let's be honest, I think I've seen someone put a quote on before. getting Rasmus Hojlund out and bringing Osimhen in, it's like swapping a bike for a Ferrari. That's the difference in quality, and that's not to be disrespectful to Rasmus Hojlund from my side. I just look at where he is right now. He needs more development, and I wish he would have done it at United. I really do, because I think he is. I think he's a decent guy. I do, but honestly, right now, I'm sick of the decent guy tag and the sentimental side of things. It's brutal. We're in desperate need, and things need to happen. Look, we're going to be upset with a few things that go down, I'm sure, because there's fan favourites that are going to be dropping left, right and centre, I feel, this summer. But I think Rasmus Hojlund right now, I think we just have to be honest with ourselves and say, can we wait 2 years with Rasmus? He isn't going to develop at United. He will develop elsewhere. He will be an all right striker. But United have got it wrong. The recruitment side let Rasmus Hojlund down. The club have let Rasmus Hojlund down. The fans have wanted him to do well. They've got behind him. But I think the reality is hitting home very, very fast right now. And he needs to be let go. It's as simple as that. He isn't going to make it happen this season or next season. Because I don't think Ruben Amorim, even if he doesn't sell Rasmus Hojlund, is going to use him as his number one. And I think his taste for first team action right now, and where he feels he is at, I think is a problem going into next season for Ruben Amorim. He needs to be moved on. I would have preferred him to have gone out on loan and United try and make some money through selling other players and just see if he goes away and improves. Because I think we'd get more money for him selling him the next summer. So not this summer, the summer after he goes somewhere else and does well. Like, for instance, just like a season-long loan, like Anthony and Rashford are doing right now. I feel like Rasmus doing a full season loan, I think he'd be worth more for United than sell him. Because at United, he's not worth nothing, and his market value it's minute compared to what it was when United bought him. And honestly, it just goes back to it again. I did the show the other morning, didn't I? Who the hell at Manchester United thinks a guy that scored 9 goals in Serie A is worth near 70 million? Fuck. It is worrying, isn't it, how United was run. I seen a piece from the Overlap from what Gary Neville says. He said that this was coming. United have run out of cash. They've literally run out of cash. The finances are an absolute mess. They really are. 3 years, losing 300 million. Manchester United's poor recruitment has just left them in this absolute mess. And he went into detail on it. And he's dead right in where we're actually at right now as a club. And Rasmus and signings like him are the ones that have really sent United over the top. He said, I think Gary Neville said at one point, Manchester United back in 2018 had 350 million cash in the bank. That's what money was there. We now haven't got anything. He said that Sir Jim Ratcliffe has come in, he's pumped in there 300 million, and that is almost gone now. And there's nothing to spend. They need to sell. Face facts. I think a lot of Manchester United fans are going to have to face the hard truth this summer. There is going to be a mass exodus, and it's going to be players that you really probably don't want to go. But they're players that we've become attached to in hope rather than the reality of them actually being good enough, I feel. That's where we're at with it. So let's get into the comment section on the Rasmus situation now, first of all. And I want to bring up a super chat, first of all, from Ray. Thank you, Ray. I love that, buddy. To be honest, we're going to head up a short again, selling Rasmus for Osimhen because we be short up front next year. What will happen if the main man goes down? Again, it's the same with every single season, Ray. Anyone can drop down at any moment. Luckily for us, Victor Osimhen's injury record is not that bad. So you're basically in the realms of hope again, aren't you, that he doesn't get injured. But you like that with every player. No one could see Ahmad missing the last 3 or 4 months of the season. No one's seen Lisandro Martinez getting injured again and missing another half a season. Like Luke Shaw. No, I'm not even going there. I'm not even going there. I'm not. Tregev says, Adam, all the best managers adapt to the team they have, playing style, etc. Sir Alex, Pep, everyone does it. Is Amorim too stubborn? Adapt a little this season and build a new team this summer. I think the bigger picture is in this, mate, that he's not going to accept these players dropping their standards. The system isn't so much that it is that difficult. He's trying, and he alluded to it last night. It's not a formation. People jumping on this formation thing and needing to change it 3-4-3. Shut up! It's got nothing to do with that. It's like he said last night, the defenders want to defend deeper. He wants them to defend higher. He wants them to be in different starting positions. It's not so much a formation. It's what he wants them to do. He wants them to work harder, and they can't do it. They cannot do it. So that's the problem he's got. It's not adapting to the players he's got. It's literally telling them to do more than what they have been doing, because what they have been doing is getting United into crap positions already. Let's not forget, when he took over, Manchester United was still bottom half of the table. We've been there all season near enough. Nothing's changed except Ruben's fighting against the mentality of these players and fighting back against it, because come the summer, there'll be no one able to hide. Everyone will be out there for everyone to see, and I think he's going to be in the best position ever to just go bang, 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 trigger on every single player that he wants out, because he knows from seeing out this season what's necessary and who's got what and who's got the capabilities or even just sheer will. Red Baron with a couple of super chats. Thanks, mate. Leeds fans are making fun of us, Adam. Yeah, well, still in the Championship, and they'll probably go straight back down again. We'll see. Everyone's making fun of us, mate. That's the problem we've got right now. I think there is a huge myth that he doesn't adapt his team. He doesn't change formation, but he adapts constantly. Fans just are blind, I suppose. A lot of fans are reading into what so-called experts are saying as well, Red Baron. And honestly, they're clueless. They're absolutely clueless. There is no way on earth that Ruben Amorim isn't changing things around. Everybody thinks he's constantly in this 3-4-3 formation. He's not. He changes it all of the time. He wants these players to work off different triggers and starting positions and end positions. He wants them to react in different ways, and they're struggling like hell. That's where it's at. Ray with another super chat. Mate, on fire tonight. Thank you, buddy. This is Adam. We used to have numbers in our centre forward area. Oh, I know, mate. I remember the days, Ray. I'm happy for a new striker, but we know if doing this Osimhen are going to break down, we on hope all the time. Excuse me. Remember the days when United used to have 4 first-class strikers? Oh my God, I still have flashbacks. I was talking to someone inside Old Trafford last night. He said, remember that game? I said that Sir Alex Ferguson's best side was a 2008 side. That was scary good, that team. And then he added Berbatov to it. And I went back, flashback, memory lane, just for the sake of it, because I really wasn't confident about the game last night. So I went down memory lane, and I remember that game when we were 2-0 down to Spurs at Old Trafford, and Sir Alex put Berbatov, Tevez, Ronaldo and Rooney up front and just said, go and destroy Spurs, and we won the game 5-2. We scored 5 goals in the second half. Proper Spursified them. I remember them days, I do. I remember when we had Cole and York and Solskjaer and Sheringham as well. Scary. I still remember when Manchester United used to have Cantona, Hughes, McClare. We've always had good choices of strikers, but the recruitment side of things has left us absolutely poleaxed in that area. It's crazy. Barry says that with his renewed membership 15 months, Onana is our biggest issue. Moving us on perfectly there. Thank you for that, Barry. I needed that prompt just to move on away. And you have got me into my favourite subject. Not. But Manchester United, this will keep us happy, actually. Now, we have known that United are looking at other goalkeepers. I think it's safe to say we can't continue with Andre Onana. I made a big show about it this morning. And thank you, everybody. We've had over 200 comments extra on top of the live comments after that video finished its live. Everybody wanting their say on it. Some disagreeing with me, some agreeing. But news coming out from Dario Sports, obviously the biggest publication over in Spain, is saying that Manchester United have entered the race to sign highly rated Espanyol goalkeeper Juan Garcia. That is a young up-and-coming goalkeeper, number 1 at the moment for Espanyol. His market value is approximately 10 million euros right now. Obviously, it's going to cost a lot more to bring him in. But he is being chased by quite a few big teams, apparently. And dare I say it, the next David De Gea? I don't know. I don't know. But honestly, right now, I just want a more competent, agile, commanding goalkeeper in between the sticks at Manchester United. Because we know that Andre Onana is useless. Simple, isn't it? That's where he is. So, yeah, and actually, I'm going to ask the chat. Also, right now, we do have a poll running. Who would you most want to leave at Manchester United? Get involved on this poll. I want to know about this. Andre Onana, Bruno Fernandes, Hojlund, or Casemiro? I'm glad that Bruno is bottom of that pile. Hojlund 7%. I think Hojlund's only at 6 and 7% simply because Casemiro and Onana are in that vote, and they take up near 90% of the vote. Actually, it is 90% of the vote is taken by Onana and Casemiro, which shows you exactly where this fan base is at, and the anger and frustration, I think, more than anything within, about how Manchester United have fallen apart and are having to accept these standards. It's good that the arguments and the debates are going on, because that means that United are not accepting these standards. The fans are not accepting Andre Onana as our number one goalkeeper. I still can't believe Paul Scholes kept Andre Onana in his keep and sell game with TNT. The Sun actually gave Andre Onana a 7 out of 10 for the Everton game. I mean, sometimes the journalists that are at the games, I don't know what they're watching. They may be more interested in their monitors in front of their seats rather than the actual reality of what's going out on the pitch. Crazy. But United are looking at Juan Garcia, the Espanyol goalkeeper. A question I did want to ask the chat, though, going back to it. What goalkeeper would you go for? Just throw some names out there. It could be going out and spending a lot of money on a keeper. It could be keeping Vitek. It could be promoting somebody else through, like Harrison. It could be just going with Bayende. What would you be happy with starting off next season? What is your go-to goalkeeper? Get into the comments right now. Are you spending money big, or are you taking one of what we've got right now, which is clearly going to be better than Andre Onana, because nobody can be worse than this guy, honestly. He's only six errors leading to direct goals away from David De Gea's full career of errors at United. So I think David De Gea's done about 18 in his whole career, and that's errors leading directly to goals in games. Andre Onana, in just over a season and a half, he's already on 12. He's only 6 behind De Gea's whole career at United. Mega. Let's get some names out here in the chat and see what people are saying. Magdan Verbruggen. Osimhen is rubbish, apparently. No, he's not. He really isn't. I don't know why you would even say that Osimhen is rubbish. Don't mind if we got Osimhen and Jonathan David for 40 million. No, that's why we need to be clever. If we're getting rid of Rasmus Hojlund and bringing in David and Osimhen, that looks like a good deal to me. I wish Altay was fit, but I genuinely think Harrison will be the number one in the future. That would be a bit of a story, wouldn't it? It would. Kasper Schmeichel for a couple of seasons, says Skiliano. Let's see what else we've got in here. Courtois would have come to Manchester United. He would, but I think he did an interview actually the other day talking about that. But yeah. Yamal Suzuki, that name has been put out there quite a lot. I think he's one of them that Manchester United were looking at a while ago, cheaper. But of course, like United always do, when they could have bought someone for 6 million, his value is now raised to 40 million because we're not confident enough in making it happen. Buffon genetically reverse his age. Martinez from Villa, if we could get anyone, he's a quality keeper. He's exactly the type of keeper that United need. We really do. I'm not a fan of Onana, but De Gea played with better players. That said, never wanted Onana. Did he play with better players? He had Phil Jones and Chris Smalling in front of him. I disagree on that one, guess, actually. I think Onana's got better defenders in front of him, but he's making them defenders look worse. I think David De Gea had worse defenders in front of him. I really do. And when you think he had Rojo, he had, I'm not saying that Blind's crap, but it kept on changing, didn't it? Rojo, Smalling, Jones, Blind. Oh, man. It was all sorts. Evans at the time. Evans in his prime, really. Well, his prime came in at Leicester when he left, but still, so much. So much. But yeah, the goalkeeper situation is what it is. We talked about it this morning, but United are actively looking. I cannot see United not bringing in another goalkeeper in the summer or changing Andre Onana for the likes of Bainday or Vitek, for instance, or anything like that. More reports from Italy. I know a Tutto Automacato Web. That's the account anyway. And you would have heard this story earlier on today. This is the winger that we were talking about at the top of the show. Manchester United and Newcastle are planning on signing Ademola Lookman this summer. Atalanta value the Nigerian forward at around 54 million, but they would be willing to negotiate a lower fee. I mean, Lookman, yeah, he is that player that has now, again, and this is what I think could happen with Rasmus Hojlund. He is now definitely worth the 54 million. He is that type of player now. But this guy has been everywhere. He's already been in the Premier League and failed. Ademola Lookman. He's brilliant for Nigeria as well. He was brilliant in AFCON. Sorry, excuse me. But again, it just goes to show that players might not hit the mark straight away in the Premier League, but then they go away and everything changes. The thing with Ademola Lookman is that Atalanta are in a little bit of a tight spot with him because at the end of this season, he's only got 1 year left on his contract. So they would be willing to negotiate a better deal for him. He's not, well, he's young, he's 27, but he's not the youngest anymore. 17 goal involvements in 20 games this season. So 5 assists, 12 goals, he's playing well. And Atalanta are chasing that Serie A title as well, along with a few other teams. So realistically, you're looking there at a player that is ready to go. And I think someone will pick him up. I don't see him signing a new contract at Atalanta. And with 1 year left to go, I think they will sell him. Interesting if they can afford to sell Edison and Lookman in the same window. But would you take Lookman at Manchester United? Would he be that number 10 just off the front? I don't think... I mean, would you play him at wing-back? Could he play the wing-back role? That's an interesting one. Could Lookman play the wing-back role? Because I don't know. Tom Porter just gifted the membership as well. That's gone to Ranko. Thank you for that. Talk to me about Lookman, everybody, as well. Is he the type of player that United should be looking at? I mean, when we look at this... We're talking about transfers, we're thinking it's a million miles away, but we now are entering into March, and there isn't much time left in the season. Obviously, now March, 3 months left, and you'd expect Manchester United to actually start making moves. Like we spoke about Osimhen yesterday in United with Giovanni Quenda as well, and how United are trying to make moves, pre-negotiate everything before the window opens. This is how clubs work, so that... I think is what's happening right now. Do I think Lookman will come in? No, I don't. I think someone else will take him. I honestly don't see that signing happening. And I feel it will be United looking elsewhere. I think Quenda is our wide player that is wanted by Ruben Amorim. And like Romano said yesterday, he loves him and he is happy to come back and play under Ruben Amorim. That's the rumour and that's what's going around. So realistically... I don't see someone like Lookman coming in. I think it's more of a Quenda and it'll be more of a forward-thinking number 10, not so much a wide 10 type player. I think it will be the more of a central sort of number 10. By that I mean the likes of maybe a Jonathan David could possibly fit in there. Someone like that. Not so much a wide player. And Lookman is wide. I think he has a better chance of going in at the wing-back position at United than he would in the number 10 role, personally. That's how I see Lookman's game anyway. If you're trying to fit him into Ruben Amorim's system, that is. Definitely. Let's get into a few more of your comments. You got Raws in there. Would love it if they lined up a couple of free transfers. David and Angel Gomez particularly. Good squad players, definitely. Jonathan David, first team player for me. I think he's better than what we've got. I think that's the type of forward that United are going to be looking at. I think more than anybody else. But hey, that's down to Ineos and what they can do and what they can do in the recruitment area. And yeah, let's see what does come about of it. But I mean, I do like talking about the transfers and the possibilities of players coming in. I am realistic with it, and if it is 54 million, even if they drop that to like 40 million, I don't think United are in that market. I really don't. I think their eggs are firmly in the Quenda basket, and I don't think we're going to be going out buying a wide player unless he was absolute mustard. I mean, if you were going for someone like Frimpong, that's a different ballgame again. That's the type of player I would like to be coming into Manchester United. Not so much Lookman, and he has done well. But again, that's what I think United thought they were buying in Rasmus Hojlund. Not particularly the position, but that type of young player who came and was very young in the Premier League, didn't really do much, went away, found his form, and now has come back. It's the same with Gyökeres. Some players develop later than others, and I think that's the situation that Rasmus Hojlund is in, and I don't think we're going to move from there. I want to start a debate on, actually quickly, I want to break the news. So I'm not breaking any news, sorry. Breaking news that I want to talk about, and that is on Manchester City and what's actually happening right now. So, I don't know if you've seen this, but this has just come out this afternoon. La Liga president reveals complaint against Manchester City and filed to the EU Commission. Now, it's a bit of a weird story in a long shot, but just to keep you updated with everything and what's actually happening, La Liga president Javier Tebas says the Spanish league has filed a legal complaint to the EU Commission alleging that Manchester City have breached EU competition law. Tobias said that the complaint was filed in 2023 and is linked to the foreign subsidies regulation. Manchester City strongly refutes the allegations. So basically, they're trying to claim that they're bringing money in as a non-EU country club, as in England, and they're breaking the law and they're breaking the actual competition law within the EU. That's what they're saying right now. All of this on top of everything else which is going on with Manchester City. But just so you're up to date with everything that's happening there, again, City are being accused and they're being brought under more charges, it would seem. So it's just a conveyor belt with Manchester City at the moment. And where this one goes, I don't know. I will be keeping my ear to the ground and trying to find out what is happening with it. And I'll be watching it closely to see if something does happen to Manchester City. But let's be honest, it does look like no smoke without fire. Again, how much more can they get away with? I don't know. We'll see how serious this is. It's all over Sky at the moment. But yes, more charges for Manchester City. Completely different to the Premier League side of things. This is La Liga. The actual La Liga league president is going after Manchester City now. So they were filed in 2023. City, again, apparently, according to them, and they have sent proof and files as well to the EU Commission, saying that Manchester City are, well, they're breaking the rules. Again, let's see what happens from it. But that's an interesting one that we'll keep an eye on and see. But City have refuted it, like they repute it. They've completely denied any wrongdoing, as they would, like they do with everything else. But we'll see if anything does come about of it, and we'll take it from there. But yeah, interesting again. It's not easy being at the top, is it? Especially when you... No, I can't say that word. I'm not allowed to. Anyway, 200 likes in the bag. Thank you, everybody. I want to start the debate on what... actually, no, first of all, before we go into the Bruno Fernandes debate, Ruben Amorim's vote of confidence on what is happening at Manchester United right now. Simon Stone of the BBC has come out and been in quite a lot of detail, gone into... what is actually going on at Manchester United after the turbulent week that we've had. Privately, Manchester United officials accept this has been a traumatic week and that Chief Executive Omar Barada did not find Monday's job loss meeting easy. However, the conviction among those running Manchester United is absolute and the changes needed to be made. So they are sticking by their guns. They are fully on with what is happening and no turning back. Sackings, job cuts, everything is happening and they feel like it is the right move. That's come from Simon Stone. He also writes, though, those responsible for making key decisions at Manchester United are adamant in faith in Ruben Amorim remains high They feel what is currently being endured amounts to teething problems, with the coach trying to implement a new system. Teething problems? 14th. Another change, it is argued, will merely repeat past mistakes. The club have been in a malaise for years, it could be said, and the cycle has to be broken. However, there is also an acceptance that this will not be straightforward. So, Ineos, United, whoever it may be, the Glazers are fully accepting that Ruben Amorim is going to lose more. It's going to be a hard process, and in the middle of trying to sort this mess out at Manchester United, they are still going to stand behind him, stand with him, and give him the time that is necessary. I think that's good news that they are going to do that. I mean, they look like absolute idiots. It's going to cost them about 20 million, according to reports, to get rid of Ruben Amorim anyway right now, and I don't think they've got the money to do it. So, ultimately, when you look at it, they've got no choice but to back him, and I think that's right as well. Let's get a few of your comments on this as well. Nobody's doubting Bruno's quality, but I'd take Wirtz over him all day. We need an agile Cam who can create goals. Bruno's had his time. You can't be comparing Wirtz to Bruno Fernandes right now, I don't think. I think he's at a different stage of his career, and there's no chance that Wirtz would come to Manchester United anyway. We'll get into more of them comments in a moment. Enough of this. Tom Fillery gets the Deadwood out by Ineos hiring baby reindeer to stop Casemiro, Mount, and Anana out of the club by freaking them out. I think Anana would enjoy it, to be honest. He seems like one of them characters that nothing phases him. I mean, he actually believes that he is a top goalkeeper. I mean, to be honest, he's confidence in the guy. You've got to give him something on that side of things, haven't you? But the decision needs to be taken out of his hands, and that's up to Ruben. Unfortunately, everyone's injured, but I am fully convinced that as soon as Bayindir comes back in, that is Andre Onana out. Dunski's, see you later, mates, gone. There's no way that he survives. Please have the players read that statement out to each other in the dressing room so they can stop trying to sabotage the man. I can't wait. I said this before, didn't I? I cannot wait for Bruno Fernandes to go into this summer and just go, get his gun out and just go bang, 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 bang. You, all gone. And Ineos have to back him in that way. If they're sitting around the table right now, they're discussing players that Ruben can't use and they're discussing values. They're then looking at players that Manchester United can bring in to obviously meet the budget needs, because a lot of the transfers that we are going to make in the summer are also going to go towards balancing the books of Manchester United and keeping our head above PSR waters. So we have to remember that. But they will be looking at all of the market right now, working out the players that are going to be going, what they can get for these players, putting that all into the conversation, and then coming up with the players that we can actually bring in. If you're looking at the likes of Osimhen, if you're looking at Krenda, then you're looking at the majority of your budget already going in them players. And United need to sell. They need to sell some big names. So, yeah. We call VTech from loan, says Danny. Are we staying up? Say we are staying up. We are staying up. 16 points clear now. This has to change. All United will go down next season. Get the goalkeeper. Travers, he's a good player. I'm not sure we have an option. Jamie B. Bruno is the least of our worries. I would play him further up though, and play Collier and the Garte in the middle of the park. Midfield was open at times last night. The midfield is always open because nobody can control Bruno. He does start to wonder. And again, nobody has been able to control Bruno Fernandes. Not one manager has been able to control him. And again, he wasn't supposed to be in that sixth position against Everton, but he did go in that sixth position. He then played the ball forward to a player that he should have been supporting, then running from that sixth position to get back to where he should have been playing in the 10 position, left the space and the gap open for the counter-attack, which Everton scored from. That's the problem with Bruno Fernandes. But Roy Keane and Ian Wright were having a right ding-dong, an absolute ding-dong on the overlap regarding Bruno Fernandes. Ian Wright coming to the defence of Bruno Fernandes, saying it's not Bruno Fernandes. Roy Keane saying that these guys are all pretenders. talking about praising players, high fives about clearing corners, and the lack of standards that United have now got. And these players just don't care. They're just pretenders. Ian Wright literally said that you can't say that about Bruno Fernandes. And Roy Keane just went on one massive rant. He was like literally had veins popping out the side of his head. He was that irate. Talking to Ian Wright like, you've had captains like Tony Adams. That's what we talk about. Don't come at me with the likes of Bruno Fernandes. He just doesn't rate anyone at Manchester United right now. Roy Keane's rant about Bruno Fernandes for me was basically proof why Roy Keane would never work in management in modern day football. It just wouldn't work, would he? But look, I love his passion and I love where he's at with his standards. And do you know what? There's a lot of what Roy Keane said is right. There is. It is. Like, none of them really have shown that they're good enough to be Man United players, because look where we are in the league and look how much we've failed. That's what Roy Keane is getting to. It's like nobody's convinced by any of these players because they've all shown their colours before. And Roy Keane was the one who said it, didn't he? That these players, the leopard never changed his spot. These players will throw the next manager under the bus. So really, I see where he's coming from. I can see, like, Bruno does give a shit. That's the only difference. There's some players that don't look like they care about anything on Man United's starting lineup or anywhere in that squad. And I think that's what Ian Wright is trying to defend. But Ian Wright's words were, and he's right about it, Wright's right, without Bruno Fernandes, Manchester United would be in the relegation zone. That's what Ian Wright said. And I think he's right in what he's going at there, because without Bruno's numbers, United would be. He is there. And he is part of United's side, so it kind of kills the argument dead. And we have to look at what Bruno has got, because he's always fit. So Bruno definitely brings out that debate amongst people. We'll just put a poll up now as well in the live chat. Is the Bruno criticism fair? 56% of you early doors are going, yes, it is. Let's see how that runs out towards the back end of the show. Any update on Pogba? You feel he will be helpful? That's from Shiva with a super chat. Thank you for the super chat. No, there is no more extra update on Pogba, except that his ban is up next month. So realistically, until then, we don't know. Whether United go in for him, I'm not sure. Anthony Wisdom says, I agree with Keane on Bruno. He's not the standard to take this club back to the top. I like Bruno, but he stands out because the rest of the squad are very average. We need better for sure. Billy says, Adam, did you hear Roy Keane comments about Bruno? Yeah, I just said that then, Billy, mate. I know that was probably a message from before, so thanks for that, buddy. But that's what we're talking about now. It is a talking point. It really is. And I don't know right now if Bruno being out of this side is better than Bruno being in it for the long run, because I don't know what's going to happen in the summer with Ruben Amorim. I want to look past Bruno Fernandes. I think we need to look past Bruno Fernandes, because literally every player on that pitch is looking for Bruno, because he's the captain, he's running around everywhere, and everybody's trying to pick him out. He's literally playing at centre-back, picking the ball up off Matthias de Ligt and Harry Maguire. He doesn't need to be there. He needs to be in the areas taking that ball on the half-turn and driving forward and creating things further up the pitch. We've seen what good Bruno does in the creation factor. In the last 2 games alone, he stood out above everybody in terms of effort and just taking that risk. But obviously that's in games against really poor sides. And I think that's the level that people are talking about. Like, Roy Keane's looking at it like, well done. You have just had 2 man-of-the-match performances against Everton and Ipswich. They're not the best quality of team. And that's where you're at with it. It's where you praise what he did last night, and I did, and he was man of the match. He was against Everton as well. But even in them games, there's flaws in Bruno's game, and that's not a high level, is it? It really isn't. And that's the bar I think Roy Keane is talking about. That's the standard bar, which I think a lot of United fans are not accepting. Some of the old school ones especially, anyway. Let's get into some more comments. Modern Samurai in the chat. Hello, my friend. Bruno works hard in the team. That is horrible. I respect that, but he could be a better leader. We cannot afford a player like Bruno right now. As simple as that. We can, because we'll be in the relegation zone without him. We need Bruno Fernandes right now. He's the only player that's holding up any sort of standard or level. And it might not be the level that you want. It may not be the type of player that you want. He may not be the full polished number 10, 8 or 6, wherever he bleeding plays. But still, Bruno Fernandes is top level when it comes to commitment. And bravery, yeah, there is none. He takes on the stick and he goes out and plays exactly the same way the week after. If we had 10 Bruno Fernandes on the pitch, we'd be right up there challenging. We would. It's that level of commitment and bravery that you don't get. I think he has got leadership qualities, Bruno Fernandes. It's in a different way to what people want it to be, though. I just don't think people realise that when Bruno leaves, it's going to be difficult to bring in somebody else that has what Bruno has got. And I think you won't realise until he's missing, personally for me, for Bruno Fernandes. He will be missing again against Fulham, 100%. Goals Probit probs get an assist, and everyone will forget how bad he's been for the rest of the match. That's how Bruno plays. And we're not forgetting about that because we're discussing it now. But Bruno Fernandes is the man that will keep Manchester United's head above water. He's the leading goal scorer this season. He's the leading assist maker this season as well. And he is the one that runs harder than anybody else. His decision-making at times is questionable. But more often than not, he does pull it out of the bag for Manchester United. But like I said before, I'm balanced. And I do look past Bruno Fernandes. And I think the club needs to look past Bruno Fernandes. His days are numbered. He's going into his early 30s anyway. So he is going to be gone for Manchester United, I feel, in the next 2 years. And then we'll see who comes in. And whether or not Bruno is going to get the right type of player in to work. Will Ruben Amorim actually be in charge of Manchester United in that amount of time as well? There you go. Gricker says that Bruno has played more games than Mount and Shaw combined in the last couple of years. The bloke is a machine for fitness and would play with his arm in a bloody cast if he had to. Unlike most. It's true, very true. Rasmus don't get in position for chances created for him. I'm actually dealt with adversity. He understand. So sick of division and lack of support, says Ryan. It's kind of hard to understand that one. No matter how bad Bruno is, he is more often than not our best player. What does that say about our team? Yep, good point. Bruno is world-class footballer, just not a world-class leader. Some people would agree with that one as well from Modern Samurai there. 100%. But that is our show this evening, everybody. That is us all wrapped up. Thank you so much for all your comments and getting involved in the chat. Good old debate tonight as well. Back tomorrow. Busy day again. Obviously, early morning, 8 o'clock with your update show live. Make sure that you're there, everybody. And then we'll be into Ruben Amorim's press conference ahead of that crunch fifth round tie against Fulham this weekend at Old Trafford. So yeah, lead up to that tomorrow. Have a great night, everybody. Thank you so much, everyone involved in the chats and mods and members for helping out. Thanks for all the new members, new subscribers and super chats and everyone who donated. I'll see you all bright and early in the morning. Have a great